All right, so in this one, we are given these two roots that are subtracted from each other, and they're equal to something, right? So 4 times the square root of x minus 3 minus the square root of 6x minus 17 is equal to 3. Now, in the previous one, we had separated out so that we had just one root on one side and everything else on the other. Here, if we have a root on one side, we're going to get a root plus something else on the other, and when we square it, things get a little messy. But I do want to separate my two roots, otherwise things will get really messy. Okay? So let's do that. I'm going to add the 6x minus 17 to each side. Okay. It's going to cancel out over here. And I'm going to get 4 times the square root of x minus 3 here equals 3 plus the square root of 6x minus 17 over here. Okay? All right, so this is equality, which means that if I square both sides, I will still get equality. Okay? So if I square both sides, on the one side I'm fine because everything's multiplied. Multiplications and squares work very well. It's the square of 14, which is 4, which is 16. And the square of x minus, square root of x minus 3, which is x minus 3. On the other side, things are a little more complicated. This square means that we are taking this thing and multiplying it by itself. So let's write it like that. That'll hopefully lead us to do the right thing a little better. Okay? All right. So we're going to FOIL this out. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times the square root of 6x minus 17 is going to be plus 3 times the square root of 6x minus 17. We're going to get another one of those things. And then we're going to get a square root of 6x minus 17 times the square root of 6x minus 17, which is the square root of 6x minus 17 squared. And so the square and the square root will cancel each other out, leaving us with just 6x minus 17. Okay. Can this be simplified? Well, I can distribute my 16. 16x minus 48. My 6x I can pull out front. 9 and minus 17 is going to be minus 8. And I have 3 of these roots and another 3 of these roots. I can combine those. I have 6 of my roots. Okay. All right. So now I have something that looks a little bit closer to what I had before. I only have a single root. If I move everything else to the other side of the equation, I'll be able to square both sides and finally get rid of my root. Okay, so let's subtract 6x and add 8 to both sides. Minus 6x plus 8. Okay, they'll cancel out over here, leaving us our 6 times the square root of 6x minus 17. 16x minus 6x is 10x. Minus 48 plus 8 is minus 40. Okay. I might be able to simplify things a little bit. I see that everything's even and I can pull a 2 out, but let's set that aside for the moment. Okay. Now if I square this side and square this side, I'll be able to finally get rid of my square root and I'll have access to my x values. Okay. All right, I'm running out of board, so let's move back to the top. Okay. So we're going to get 10x minus 40 squared. I want to write that as my FOILed form because that will better lead me to doing the proper thing. On the right-hand side, I'm going to get 6 squared. 6 squared is 36. And the square of my root, so I'm going to get 6x minus 17. Okay? I've squared this side, I've squared this side. I want to do this calculation to get the values that I need. Well, 10x times 10x is 100x squared. 10x times a minus 40 is a minus 400x. 10x is another minus 400x. 40 times 40 is 1600. Minus and a minus is a plus. Okay? Our 36 I can distribute. Oh boy, 36 times 6. Our numbers are getting big enough that I'm going to need the calculator for this. 36 times 6 is 216x. 36 times negative 17 is minus 612. Okay. Now, I want to move all of the stuff on the right over to the left so that I have a 0. I want to combine all my x terms. So I want to subtract 216 from both sides, 216x from both sides. I want to add 612 to both sides. All right. Putting the pieces together. I have 100x squared. I have minus 400 is minus 800. Minus another 216 is minus 1016x. 1600 plus 612 is 2212, and that's equal to 0. Okay, these numbers are extremely large. But just because they're large doesn't mean I can't put these things into the quadratic equation. Okay? So using the quadratic equation, x is going to be minus b. Minus a minus is a plus. Plus or minus the square root. 1016 squared minus 4 times a times b over 2 times a. 2 times 100 is 200. Okay. All right. All right. So 1016 squared is a whole honkin' large number. Let's use Wolfram alpha for this. Okay, Wolfram alpha app. All right, so 1016 squared is a little over a million. This is also going to be very large. So 1016 squared minus 4 times 100 times 2212. Okay. That comes out to be the square root of 147,456. All over 200. Okay. So if we take the square root of that thing, 147,456. Hey, it's a perfect square, 384, right? So this becomes 1016 plus or minus 384 over 100. Okay, so we will get, went black there for a second, we'll get two solutions. the positive and the negative. So x is equal to 1016 plus 384 over 100. So that's going to be 6 and 4 is 0. Carry the 1. 1, that's a 0. Carry the 1, 3 and 8, 9, 10, yeah. Carry the 4 over 100. Well, that comes out to be 14. So that's the positive side. On the negative side, 1016 minus 384. I don't believe this is going to be an integer. Okay. 1016 minus 384. 6 minus 4 is 2. Yeah, it's not an integer. 1 minus 8. 11 minus 8 is 3. That takes that down to a 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. 632 over 100, or equals 6.32 is on the minus side. Okay? So 14 on the minus side, 14 on the plus side, 6.32 on the minus side. And there we go. Couple steps. But the key is, at each step, figure out what we need to do to make the thing simpler.